I mean, I've had several patients that identified themselves as being, oh, well, I'm just kind of not very friendly, or I'm irritable. Like I have a short fuse. I get frustrated easily, but it wasn't them. And I actually wrote like a little newsletter on it. One of my first ones was, it's not you, it's your pitta. So we sort of identify our personality as such, but it might be this doshic overlay. And once you bring that into balance, then your whole personality shifts. And so I think that's the power of accessing the mind through the body and balancing the body, which in turn balances the mind. And the whole purpose of Ayurveda really is to exist so that we come closer to not being influenced by these variations, and then we can get to center more easily.
I feel you. I feel like I can make that into a t-shirt, Nisha. It's not me, it's my pitta.
I'd wear it. No, that's a really good one.
It's my explosive volcano. Anyways, so that definitely resonates with me as far as kind of dispelling this noise and letting, the true self kind of shine, and that self of bliss and ananda and this and just allowing that to be. And I also feel like I was thinking about this earlier, just having a little bit more of awareness, that inner awareness, having more of awareness on the workings of these neuroses. And that might just be that kind of observational status of seeing these stories and these programs that can play, and these little things, little noises play, and just being able to sit back and with that awareness, with that light bringing from the self, being able to have that kind of sublimate, burn up in that fire, which may be very useful for this dark wintertime solstice season that we're experiencing in the northern hemisphere of the world right now. So, I mean, as far as like wintertime in the context of Ayurveda, what is the predominant force that we're dealing with, and why do things fester in that type of environment?
I really think it's an absence of the fire element. So it's a predominantly kapha, but then maybe secondarily vata season. And what's missing from those doshas is fire, right? And so when I think of fire, I think of Agni, I think of the ability to transform. So transform thoughts and emotions into understanding, transform food into consciousness. And then in terms of like, what do you do to boost fire? You increase heat within the body. So that might be warming spices. It could be activity that gets the blood flow going. Anything that's warming, like a bath or a sauna. So I just think of it as, we don't have as much sun. We don't have the Agni in the sky, and we don't have, our Agni overall is sort of getting into sort of like a hibernation mode. And so what can we do to kindle Agni during this time? And that's going to help us process through all of the stagnation that's prevalent, and the misunderstanding, and the cloudy layers that mask us from our inner light, our inner self,
What are your practices that you do to keep the fire burning?
Okay, well, I do breath of fire, so I do pranayama, and I mean, I have a sauna at home. I'm really blessed to have a nice infrared sauna. So I get in there, I get in hot baths.
Oh, you have an infrared sauna?
I do. I mean, I use it for patients, so I
did not know this.
It's sort of a dual function. But I would say one of my favorite practices that really anyone can do, and I tend to do it pretty much every night in the winter, is an Epsom salt bath. So, yeah, I mean,
and that's magnesium sulfate, right?
Yeah, you get your magnesium that way too. So I think that's one of the forgotten ways of receiving medication is through our body, through our skin, versus we always think that medication has to be something that we swallow, right? So you're getting the magnesium that relaxes your body, but it detoxifies as well. And then you're increasing Agni, right? You're transforming these toxins out of the body. And it's just such a beautiful ritual of self-care too. So yeah, those are my go-tos. I do try to get out when I can and be in the sunlight and exercise during that peak time of the day that's really going to get the Agni going. What about you?
Yeah, totally. I mean, yeah, pranayama is huge for me. I'll do breath of fire and a lot of stuff to kind of shift things. I start out actually with an embodied practice of some asana, do some yoga, and get things moving a little bit. I just kind of for my work, I'll be seeing patients throughout the week, so it really helps kind of my mind center a little bit when I do move my body. I'll put some music on, just kind of shake it out a little bit, and then once I get the energy flowing, then I'll sit down and I'll really try to burn it up.
Oh my God!
With the
I'll be there for that class. Can you do the next was like a group video of you and your embodiment practice?
Yeah, I would love to share that. Yeah, I mean, a lot of these things are just kind of I keep away in my own little personal space, but I would love to share that stuff. Yeah, it's kind of intense. It's sometimes I picture an imaginary person with like a stick just like slapping me, just to get in shape.
Well, I think this would be entertaining.
Stretch it harder, yeah. That kind of that drive that puts in my own practice, because if I don't feel it, I have to feel that tension, pressure, stress in order to feel that real kind of fire or light inside me. And then in my asana practice, I also note that in order to help that energy move, I think inversions can be also very, very beneficial in terms of getting allowing that lymph to flow up a little bit easier. And I don't know, what do you think about this thought? I mean, there's so many different correlations, from psycho-spiritual to, we have the etheric body, we have the emotional body, we have the physical body. And even within the physical body, we have the nervous system, the lymphatic system, we have the, all these things. I mean, there's so much correlate right there, like if I can find a way to get that lymph to flow up and just like any kind of fascial area be broken up, I feel like that correlates into my spiritual experience, like when I'm feeling in my environment, or even in my, kind of my psychological experience of thoughts that might be, wound up like knots that just need to be cleared. So that starting the body and seeing how, and bringing in awareness of how that can correlate to these other aspects, to really put a little flame underneath these demons that we're talking about.
Yeah.
Can help.
Well,
Something that, yeah.
Well, I also think those demons are what's blocking us from our, not just our true essence, but our true contribution. Like I think we are meant to be creative, and we're meant to be channeling all the time, channeling information, channeling energy, channeling thoughts and creativity, manifesting through us. And part of what you were sharing with your embodiment practice and moving the lymph and getting things going is and pranayama, you're really just opening up the pranic channels so that the energy can freely flow through you. And so when we think of like a knot or tension, it's in our physical, and it's going to be a block to the energy if we don't do something about it.
Yeah.
So I think
a word that you brought up was tamas. Tamas, not Tom, but tamas. What does that even mean?
TAMAS. Tamas.
Tamas. What does it refer to? I know there's Raja, Tamas, Sattva.
Sattva, Rajas, Tamas, right? These are the,
Yeah, these are the Oha.
what?
Say it.
Well, Sattva, Rajas, Tamas are the, go ahead. Wait, what were you saying?
They're Ojas, right?
No, Ojas is like that, the superfine essence of kapha.
Oh, okay.
It's like, I like to call Ojas what modern day people refer to as mojo. You know, it's like, I
Okay.
really feel like that word came from Ojas. But Sattva, Rajas, Tamas are the qualities of a substance from an energetic perspective. Does it create more centered connection with the divine? Rajas, is it energizing, that's going to like kind of be exciting but take you away from center? And then tamas is like this dull quality that you just kind of go inward and you're, not really having a lot of movement. And so we need all three in order to have balance, just like we need all three doshas. And then winter is a time where we can predispose ourselves to more tamas, not just from the elements, the weather outside being more kapha like tamasic in quality. And that's not to say kapha and tamas are equivalent, but just the sort of dullness and stillness that the winter brings. I think it invites us to just not really want to move. We're cold. We want to just like cuddle up on the couch and watch TV and, eat heavy food. But those are the things that are going to promote even more tamas and or kapha within the body that are going to keep us in that stuck lack of creative flow state. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So
I feel you on that. And I mean, as far as like foods that you can eat to kind of break through that kind of stagnation, what would you incorporate in your diet for the winter?
Well, yeah. So I think if someone was feeling depressed and unmotivated, I would say go for the lighter foods. Like, even though in Ayurveda, they don't recommend really having salads in the winter, I think you have to look at the person and what's going on with them doshically and not just these blankets like you only do this in summer or winter or whatever. So I would actually say like maybe fast or half the day if you can, or maybe do a full day of fasting or a juice fast with green juice. Things that have a lot of phytonutrients and color that are going to bring prana into the body. So that's what I recommend from a dietary perspective. And then from, lifestyle, we already kind of talked about a little bit, but getting outside, being in the sun, if possible, if there is sun, and then just warming the body up, moving the body. Those would be sort of the key things I'd say for anyone who's dealing with a lot of those winter demons. But for vata, you just want to be careful to not overdo the exercise.
I hear you. Yeah, I was gonna say with the vata, especially like the greens and like the little light salads.
Yeah.
I'm like, that might put those people a little off kilter. If they have, the kind of a lot of air element.
Right. Yeah, you're exactly right. So for people with more of the vata type of imbalance emotionally, that's more of the anxiety, the fear, and more of a kind of sense of loneliness. For them, I would still recommend have these really